They killed, give me Isaiah 14 and 21. They did the same thing to my people. So you said that they put millions of my actions. Yes, you said. Should a murderer go to jail for murdering? Absolutely. Should a thief go to jail when he steals? Absolutely. Should a robber pay back the money he robbed? Absolutely. So why shouldn't the white man pay for what he did? That's right. That's right. One day you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog.
I'm in a hell of a hole, was never expected to grow. Just obstacle sat in the road, that a result of me selling my soul. The story I'm telling is cold, but yet it's what everyone knows. The white man's the devil is known. America was never a home, only a place of captivity, safe facility, hating, disfigure me. They claim that I'm lazy, be killing me. Maybe the slavery draining my energy. 400 years and counting. The trail of my tears is countless. The fact that I'm here is astounding, but I can't wait till this shit is surrounded. Ready to tangle my king and the angel, be ready to rap. Crack.
All right, Most High in Christ. Get Isaiah 30th and 1. Read that.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 30, verse 1. Woe to rebellious children.
Right, we the rebellious children that go against the Most High. And the Lord said, woe, destruction on us. I feel so concerned for blacks and Latinos, West Indians, Native Indians. I'm so concerned for them because they are clueless at what's happening in the world right now. They see the conflict, they see the war, but they ain't really, did you open this when you came in? Oh, somebody else? Okay. Hey, give me a water back there. Don't open it, all right? Like, they're so oblivious to what's going on right now. They're oblivious to what could happen. They're oblivious to their lives. Everybody's just running around, that's how you can leave. Everybody's just running around trying to survive, trying to figure out where they should be going in their life. When in actuality, your life is over. Your life been over. Your life in this empire never started. It never even began. All you've done is struggle to get a life, struggle to be a people, struggle to fit in, struggle to try and, learn the things that you thought you should learn so that you could be accepted in this kingdom. When in fact, you have no parts of this kingdom. You never did. So the Lord said, destruction on you that go down into Egypt, meaning you leave from our land, our mindset, what we stand for, our laws, our statutes and commandments, and you go down into Egypt and you join the Egyptian way of life. Something we supposed to have learned from the days of Jacob and his 12 sons, to not take on the culture and identity of the heathen that when we go into captivity of, under. Our leaders should have been telling us this. We should have been learning from young boys, don't be like the people who's living over you. Even in Jamaica, I know you could attest to this. The blacks in Jamaica are always politically battling the East Indians in Jamaica, right or wrong. They both vying for power. The Chinaman as well. The Chinaman got certain industries, clubs, different industries in Jamaica that you can't get unless you get a permission from him and they little gangs and whatever, people they dealing with. And the reason for that is because they unify to empower themselves. And when they empower themselves, then you end up under them. Now they own all the houses and the real estate and the businesses. In Trinidad, they was telling me damn near all the doctors in Trinidad are East Indians. And almost none of them are the black people who are from down. You understand? Because that's what nations do. Remember what the Most High said. The nation that is among thee shall get up above thee very high. You're going to come down low as hell. It happens all the time. But we, in our ignorance and with our ignorant leaders, believed that we could somehow rise to the occasion to become part of this slave master's kingdom, when we cannot and will never be a part of this kingdom. And now more than ever, right now, with what's going on in the world, race is everything in the world right now.
Right.
What race you are means everything. If you Palestinian, it means something. If you Israeli, it means something. If you something other than those, it means something. If you an Arab, it means something. If you black people, maybe it means something, because the world don't respect us like they're gonna respect us in a short period of time. You know what I mean? In a short period of time, they're gonna respect us like they're supposed to. Go ahead, where you at?
God, in the book of Isaiah, chapter 30, and verse 1. Woe to the rebellious children, said the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me.
We counseling, but not of the Most High. We make, as black people and Latinos in this country, we make the worst decisions you could ever make. We make decisions about our lives. Our black politicians make decisions about our lives that are the worst decisions you could ever make. I don't know no politician in no other country that would vote for the abortion of their own people. I don't know none. But leave it to black leaders in this empire. We voted for murdering our own babies. And here's something that I wish the world could understand. The world doesn't understand that the Lord exists and he's seeing everything. So whatever you do in this world, you never get away with it. Nobody gets away with anything in this kingdom. Nobody. Because the Lord sees it and brings it back to you. So everything, every sin, every evil that we've been doing against the Lord is coming back to us. All us that have been selling drugs, that did not repent, we're going to have a horrible day. All the brothers and sisters that did all kinds of evil things and did not repent, did not turn to Yahushua, the King known as Christ, and become part of his kingdom, you are going to be you're gonna pay for it, because everything that goes down is coming right back around. Nobody's getting away with anything. You wrongfully murdered brothers and all that, didn't repent, that murder's coming back. Everything is coming back. Look at America. America, the most powerful empire in the world, they on the verge of being dragged into the Third World War. How did that happen? The Israelis, who was living deliciously in the world, they were having a concert. Dragged into this conflict, ready to get themselves destroyed in the middle of this war. And here's a good example. I'm gonna bring an article out. All right, if I could. This past weekend, everybody was doing what? Halloween. I was there. I saw it, meaning not celebrating it, but I saw it. Saw them getting down in Halloween, and it was ridiculous. And you could see the spirit on the youth. They didn't have a spirit on them to get trick-or-treating candies and dress up for Halloween. They had a spirit on them to wreck shop. Like part of their joy was going to be to wreck, get together in a gang and just go off. That's taught behavior, taught by the TV set. That's a perfect example of how we anger the Most High. The Lord cannot stand when we take on the high holy days of these other nations, man. It's an abomination to the Most High. It's a disrespect on another level that we would do something like that. This is from the Hill, but it's been all over the article, all over the place. Okay, 12 dead, scores injured in Halloween weekend mass shooting. At least a dozen people are dead and many more injured after numerous mass shootings took place across the United States over the Halloween weekend. What the hell kind of holiday is that? Because you know who this is. White kids ain't out there shooting each other like that. We are. We are under this brainwashed system of believing in Egypt. And when the Lord say believe in Egypt, he's talking about believing in the empire that has you in captivity. You're supposed to be against the empire that got you in slavery. You're supposed to want to be free from that empire, not try to join that empire. And now that the war is breaking out, now it's spilling out and coming out more, oh man, you're going to get yourself away from this empire. Watch. You're going to be dragged apart. You're going to be separated. from this empire and given back to the Lord. This is such an evil holiday. And it was sad. It was so sad when I was out there. I was getting my car oil changed. And I saw single black women with either one child or 2 or 3 children, and they all dressed up like Halloween, out trying to get candy and just trying to fit in and be a part of this kingdom. And it was sad, so sad that I had to say to some of them sisters, you don't got to be out here doing this. You know what I'm saying? Why don't you get together with your people, man, and do something at home, do something productive for the kids and all that. You know what I'm saying? Because they looked so, first of all, they felt so lonely because they had no man. That you out with your kids, Halloween, so-called holiday, you're supposed to be happy about, which is a demonic holiday in itself. And then you out there by yourself with the kids, which is dangerous as hell. You understand? They out trying to do mischief, trying to get into all kind of madness. It was just sad. It was a sad state of affairs. You understand? Like it was a miserable, miserable, sad thing. You poor in the hood, out at night, dressed up like a clown, you understand, trying to get candy out of other poor people in a neighborhood with violence everywhere and everybody halfway out of their mind. It's just a joke. It's not even a real sensible thing to even do. But it was being done out there, and it's once again, through the mercy of the Lord, we got to give our people another route. This route is not working. Go ahead, Doc.
If I could, too, it's also a contradiction when they teach it, when you tell them not to speak to strangers. It's like it's okay for them to walk up to a house and they don't know who's going to open that door and ask for a piece of candy. So
that's right. You're right. It's like a contradiction of thought. You teaching them not, to beware of strangers, which in this time you should, because you got every heathen coming in this country from all over the place, and they trafficking children for real. They snatching people's kids. They got tapes on them all over the internet. So it makes sense that a mother would be extra vigilant, and extra vigilant, especially if you don't have a man at home. You don't have a man to move with you in certain circles when you go to do certain things. And not just any man, a man of real strength. You understand? A man of, a dangerous man. Like that's what the sister needs in 2023. In 2023, you need a dangerous ass nigga. Excuse my friend. You need somebody that, you know what I'm saying? When you leave the house, that you don't want to get into nothing because he's so dangerous that it's gonna be a problem either way. You know what I mean? So you definitely going out the house like the peacemaker because he ain't playing with nobody. And that's what you need in 2023. You know what I'm saying? You need that. That's the thing you need absolutely the most. And to go out into such danger with your babies for the sake of upholding a witchcraft holiday set up by Satanists to celebrate Satan is a joke. And here's the hypocrisy of that holiday. The hypocrisy of it all is that the majority of the people that went trick-or-treating were Christians. You know what I mean? Like that was the majority. The majority were the people who had crosses on their necks. And then some people said, well, we'll get together and have a party instead of going trick-or-treat. That was worse. Because now you got together and had the ceremony for the Halloween party, and people died over it. Once again, you can't be a part of this kingdom no more. You got to recognize that you got to go. Meaning not literally move out of here. You don't get out and got to go nowhere. But you got to no longer become a part of this way of life. Go ahead. And it was over anyway in the first pandemic. People are trying to bring it back a little bit, but this place is done. You understand? It's getting ready to descend into hell in this place. You want to do yourself a favor? Go buy you a couple of generators, get you some canned food. You understand? Do something for yourself. And that'll move you a little bit more independent from listening to this man and being a part of this man's kingdom. Because he is not going to be able to hold this thing together. Go ahead, Doc.
What you bring up the article about what happened this past weekend with the party?
I'm reading it right now.
Okay, that's how I was about to.
Now I don't know if it's the same one, but if you have one, you can pull it up as well.
Chicago?
It doesn't say. I don't see it just yet. But why don't I read down some, and then you can chime in if you see it fitting into the picture.
Okay.
All right. It says there were 13 mass shootings. Imagine that. Happy Halloween, dum dum. 13 mass shootings. Okay, and listen, here's what always shocks me. We have 13 mass shootings, and our black leaders don't never say, yo, we got a problem we got to fix. Our black leaders don't never say, listen, we want to be on C-SPAN at so-and-so time. We want everybody to tune in the black and Latino community so we can lay down what happened, what went wrong, what we should be doing, and the direction forward. You don't never hear that. All you hear is the mass shooting, and all we do is get the label as shooters. But you don't never hear a solution because, and then when we come with the solution, you attempt to suppress our voice. You suppress our voice. Why aren't we allowed to be on C-SPAN right in front of the world saying what happened, why it happened, and why we should not be a part of it? You understand? And the reason they don't want to ever do that is because that's going to cut into Halloween money. Them pumpkins cost money. That candy, them candy companies, brother, they sell more candy on Halloween than all year long. You can't take Halloween away from Snickers bars and Mars bars, Twizzlers candy, and all the rest of them. What they call them things? Sour Patch Kids and M&Ms. You take Halloween away from them, brother, you taking more than 50% of their gross national product. You basically gonna put them out of business. You will basically end their business, which is why our decisions can't be based on America's decisions. We can't do everything America does. They should celebrate Halloween. They created it. They believe in it. They enjoy themselves in it. They make money off of it. Happy Halloween, white folk. And whoever else want to join them, but not the Lord's people. You get cursed when you join Halloween. You anger the Lord up in heaven, watching down on you. You make him mad because you celebrating some Halloween. Let them go ahead and enjoy themselves. They should, but your baby should not, because it don't work for you, because it don't fit your DNA. It ain't part of your way of life to be caught up in the Halloween parties, man. A satanic holiday. You know what I'm saying? And in our worst days, we always believe in the Lord. As a people, why would you try to steal that away from us? Dress up like ghouls and goblins and God knows what else. Every horror movie, they got a mask for it. For your kid to try to mimic a serial killer. Why would you do that? Why would you want your baby putting on a Freddy Krueger mask and trying to mimic a mass killer and act like that's fun and joy? You training your baby the wrong way. Right. Now you got little Negroes running around out here talking about they a robot. You heard that before. I know you heard that, right? Y'all ain't hear that before? Man, you got black people walking around out here claiming that they are aliens or that they are robots. You see them and they talking like this. My name is Thornton. And they living their life like this. They all over YouTube and TikTok. Crazy as a bed bug. All for the gain of part of what this world claims it has to offer. Go ahead, Op.
There was I believe he was a Judite brother saying that he was a.
I saw it.
Yeah.
Said that he said we are aliens, right?
Okay.
And Dr. Phil sat up there and deciphered had a whole conversation with this brother, and come to find out in the final analysis, this brother was traumatized from young, and that trauma made him decide he was no longer going to go with what society was. He had a desire to become successful. If you remember the story, he had a desire I'm diverting, but I'm going to come back. He desired to be successful in life. And so in the psychological trauma, he knew as a regular black man, he couldn't be a star from where he was at. So he came up with this whole identity to try to gain notoriety and was so engrossed in it, and he believed it himself to where he lived that way. And his mother was so angry with him over the thing, but she couldn't understand that this boy is traumatized from when he was young. That's us. When you send your kid to Halloween, you send him dressing up like Halloween, and these kids be scared. And Lord forbid if something happened. Give me that picture you got with the pill under the candy. Can you put that on the screen? Let me show y'all a horror story. I'm gonna show y'all a horror story. You understand? That Nicole found. These Edomites are monsters. They were taking pills, drugs, and putting it underneath the candy. So the kid would take the candy and the pill would dissolve with the candy. He would think it's just the taste of the candy, and they would drug the kid, man, and do God knows what. You know what I'm saying? The hell with that.
I'm about to share it with everybody at home first.
You know what I'm saying? Just crazy, man. Can you even put, there it is. Look at that. It's embedded inside the candy. That's the bottom of what looks like a Reese's Pieces.
And if I could, sir?
Yeah.
This actually happened. This was in Philadelphia, Frankfurt section.
Yeah.
Sister Tazalati said the craziest thing is to try to even take your kids trick or treating in that Frankfurt area, because you know that's the same area that's Kensington and Allegheny.
That's where all the drugs at.
Yeah.
So if you taking your kids trick or treating up there, what the hell do you expect?
Right.
And once again, the Lord will never be with you if you're not, upholding what's right. Like every sister in America should be trying to pull their children away from these evil holidays. Every last one of them is evil. And if you believe in Christ, they anti-Christ. Halloween is anti-Christ. How are you going to be celebrating it when it's anti-Christ? Let me keep going. All right. There was 13 mass shootings, defined as when at least 4 victims are injured or killed between Friday and Sunday. So that means 13 times 4 is 40. 3 times 4 is 12, 52. That means minimum 52 people were involved in these shootings over the weekend. 52 people. Bear with me a second. Let me read on. Okay, between Friday and Sunday. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 3 days. 3 days. 52 people minimum got a bullet in them. According to Gun Violence Archive, the shootings left at least 12 people dead, get this, and 79 people injured, according to the nonprofit organization. And so you don't know what them injuries are that's the 79 got: paralyzed, blinded, loss of limb, inability to do all kinds of things, motor skills, all of that could have happened in between this because of the spirit and the life that we're in, when we should be moving away from this place. And you can't move away from it unless you got the right leadership. Our leaders are moving us towards the kingdom, not away from the kingdom. When the Lord said, woe to you that go down into Egypt, because he wants us to move away from the kingdom. Let me give it a little bit more. They come just days after a gunman opened fire in Louisville, Maine, killing 18 people and injured another 13 in the days since. Yeah, but that shooting got all the attention. That shooting, when the Edomites got shot, it was all hands on deck. It was everybody was on that. You didn't even hardly hear about this. This was more people than what happened with him. It was about 50 people with him. This was 79. And 79 in multiple places. This should have been the biggest story, right or wrong? Right. You ain't hear nothing about it. And this was over 2 days. He did that over a week? 2 weeks? Okay. lawmakers and activists have reignited familiar calls for gun reform, which makes me want to vomit. It makes me want to vomit these prostitutes. Our black leaders are prostitutes because, again, trusting in Egypt, Egypt wants our guns. So they want you to give up your gun. Like black leaders and activists see all that killing, and they don't say, we need more security. They don't say, we need more regular citizens trained to be armed to protect themselves. We need more education from our children from young. We need more training on our children to not become mass shooters. We need harder laws to allow people who shouldn't have guns to get guns. No, they don't come with none of that. Instead, they want gun reform, which means take away all the niggas' guns. Take away black people's guns. Not their guns, but take away our guns. And that has never been a problem. And you can take away all the guns in the world. They did it in England, right? Took away all the guns in England. Guess what? England got an epidemic of stabbing. They stabbing as many people as they can to death in England. Which meaning people, if somebody want to kill you, they'll kill you.
Right.
They'll find a way to kill you. They'll kill you with a baseball bat if they want to kill you. The problem is, why do they want to kill you? Why do we want to kill each other? Like, we ain't looking at the real problem. And the problem is we want to kill each other because we have bought into the idea of this empire and put ourselves on the bottom. We hate us, love them, so we destroy each other. Instead of hating them, getting away from them, and seeking to serve the Most High so you can be free from them, instead you try to join too. Brother, it's costing us our life. The worst shooting of the weekend happened in Texarkana, Texas, leaving 3 people dead and 3 injured when gunfire broke out at a party Saturday night, according to police. Apparently, this all started when a fist fight broke out between 2 men in the party. At some point during this fight, at least 2 men there pulled out rifles and started shooting. Okay? 2 people were killed, 15 injured at a shooting early Sunday morning at a Halloween party in Tampa. So they couldn't even let the party end Saturday night. They rocked that party all the way to Sunday morning. They couldn't get enough until somebody got shot up. All right. There was 2 mass shootings in Chicago. I think that's the one you're talking about. Over the weekend, according to the archive, at least 15 people were shot at a Halloween party Sunday, leaving 2 critically injured. A mess. The victims include 6 women and 9 men, killing women. Between 26 and 53, 53-year-old woman getting shot because she came to a party. We out of order. A separate shooting in Chicago left another 4 people dead on Saturday. The problem is, the reason why the reason why we don't get it is because we don't realize that the problem is us following them. We don't realize this is not our way of life. We think we're violent. That's us. We think we badass and violent. We're violent when we need to be. But our people are among the most peaceful people you have met. You couldn't put this oppression on nobody else. Look at the Palestinians. You don't see the Palestinians saying, we shall overcome. They ain't singing that. You think the Palestinians are sitting around singing, we shall overcome? You think they sitting around saying, swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me home? They ain't singing slave narratives. They mixing chemicals trying to make bombs to kill the people who have them in slavery. We're the peaceful people. We're the people who rarely rise up against our slave master. But you have taught us to be so violent against each other with teaching us the ways of this kingdom. Get me back to Isaiah if I could.
Sir.
Teaching us to be violent in this place. All right.
God, it's the book of Isaiah, chapter 30 and verse 1. Woe to the rebellious children.
No, don't read 1 all over again. Jump from the middle and that covering. Go ahead.
And that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit.
Right, not of the Lord's spirit. That's what Christianity is. It's a covering, but it ain't the right covering. It's a covering of the God of this place. It's a covering of the love for the slave master. It's a covering to love what he loves. How is it that the LGBTQ community is so accepted in church? Seeing that in the Bible, it clearly states that those alternative lifestyles were death penalty offenses during the time of Moses. During the time of Moses, being alternative lifestyle person would get you the death penalty, and not just a lethal injection. It would get you stoned to death in a pit, along with your family and your cattle and your house. That's a lot of stoning. The whole, and it didn't come from a judge and a corrections officer. The whole city put a rock upside your head. Who's the fastest black pitcher in baseball today? Give me one of the fastest. Nobody know? Google it. Google it. And then Google how fast his pitch is. Go ahead, Al. Huh? Alexa. Who is the fastest black pitcher in America today?
Here's something I found on the web. According to StudyHippo.com, the fastest a Major League Baseball pitcher has ever pitched was 108.1 miles per hour, and that was Nolan Ryan in 1974. Also, I can update you each evening on the biggest NFL headlines of the day.
No,
Would you like
stop.
me to do that?
No, I wouldn't. What I'd like to know is the fastest black pitcher in America today.
I'm not sure.
You might gotta say African American.
The fastest African American pick, Alexa, the fastest African American pitcher in America today.
Sorry, I don't have an answer for that.
Give me the top 3 black pitchers in baseball today. Alexa, give me the 3 highest ranked pitchers in professional baseball today.
The 3 tallest pitchers with last year of 2023 are Sean Jelly, who is 6 feet 11 inches tall, Bailey Ober at 6 feet 9 inches, and Lane Ramsey at 6 feet 9 inches.
Alexa, give me the 3 baseball players with the best scores today.
Sorry, I don't have an answer for that.
Oh, she can't get none of that. Anyway, a good pitcher pitches about 100 miles an hour, right? Go ahead.
We got one, it's called Adonis Chapman.
Adonis Chapman. Okay.
Right.
How fast can he pitch?
106.
He gets pitched at 106 miles an hour, a baseball. Now imagine him hitting you with a rock after you done sinned against the Lord. At 106, now that ain't a baseball, that's a rock. At 106 miles an hour, brother, he gonna go, your head gonna halfway come off. Go ahead.
If I could, sir, I happen to watch overseas the Ishmaelites, Joel Stonen, and I was like, yeah, I see why you understand that was recommended, because after you see that, you will not want to do whatever that person did ever.
Yeah, you'll know what it's like. You know what I mean? And so imagine somebody stoning you like that. That was the death penalty. Now imagine today that the alternative lifestyle is celebrated and are treated as though the rest of the world has been cruel to them and insensitive to them and has not allowed them to live a full and enjoyable life like everybody else. But the Lord, I'm not saying for nobody to go out and do that. But once again, that's such a clear contrast between their kingdom and our kingdom. That same death penalty would apply for a sister that killed her baby. It would apply there too. The Lord said, the first seed that cometh out of the matrix belongeth to the Lord. Meaning when a woman have that first child, that child is supposed to be dedicated to the Most High. That's what's supposed to happen. Not that you just decide you're going to kill the baby. You in total violation. So we commit some of the greatest death penalty crimes, And it's celebrated in this kingdom as righteous freedom, when that is totally not the way it should go. You had a question earlier? You had your hand up?
God, I was going to piggyback on what the card said, where you said, seeing what they do to him seeing what they do to whoever is stoned, it'll make you not want to do that. It was so heavy because even like take back in the day, for instance, with the LGBTQ, we used to like, you're gay, and then we used to like jump on him.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I guess that's why they killed the turn in the closet, because a lot of them didn't want to come out. Why they come out today?
Right.
It's like because they was afraid back then on how the straight man would probably handle them or deal with them. And yeah,
which was right, which was like that a criminal should feel that way. There was a time where if you sold drugs, you hid that you were selling drugs. There was a time where drug dealers never let you know they was drug dealers. You know what I'm saying? They only had a small circle of people that they sold drugs to, and outside of that, they didn't tell anybody, because if people in the neighborhood knew you were selling drugs, you could get killed. You could get literally, shot, stabbed, because to them, which righteously was, you were doing something that was destroying our people. It was no difference than anything else that you do to harm your own people, that people are like, what the hell are you doing? But amazingly, we are taught so many self-destructive ways of life that we don't even realize how much we set ourselves up to be killed. Now, all those brothers who didn't care about brothers and sisters and sold drugs, right? Where are their children at now? Where are the children of those mothers who was getting high? They out here in the street. What they doing? You an old man now. They out here with a gun looking to rob you. You done did a lesson against your own self in your own ignorance, not knowing. Not knowing. Same with killing your babies. You done killed your babies off. Now you in church at 50 with no babies and depressed and nobody taking care of you. What did you do? Taught a lesson against yourself. You did something to harm your own self. That's what we taught in this kingdom. That's why the Lord is righteous, that the Lord burns this place to the ground.
Right.
In spiritual warfare. I'm gonna hold y'all thoughts. Let me read on a little bit. Go ahead, Al, because I've been holding that one verse.
Come, sir. And that cover with my covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin.
Right. Then you could take one sin, add it to another sin, add it to another sin, add it to another sin.
Right.
It was a sin for us back in the day to go marry in other nations. That was a sin. Tons of these sins. These sins were looked at as a joke for many, many years. Now, people are getting the point that these sins were the most important thing to happen to us. These sins, and us knowing these sins, and us knowing not to be a part of these sins, became the most important thing to us. We now got our life back because we left those sins, man. Go ahead, keep going. Second verse. I'm doing 3 verses and I get up off it.
Verse 2. That walk to go down into Egypt, and have not asked at my mouth.
And have not asked at my mouth, man. Meaning didn't inquire of the Lord. That's what's so heavy in the scriptures. In the scriptures, you read so many times when we ran into a crossroads in life in what we should do. And instead of just doing what we want to do, and definitely not doing what the heathen wanted us to do, we went and inquired of the Lord, man, and said, man, what should we do? How should we handle this? Like, we are fools, and I'm going to tell you why. We are fools because we have a God, a power that's real. The Lord said, I have no other gods before me, because none of them are real. Okay, get me where the Lord said not to trust in these gods of wood and stone. You know what I'm talking about? Pull that scripture up. Like we are fools. We have the guidance, not of a man, but the guidance of the most high power written right down in front of us, and we ignore it. Instead, we want Halloween. Instead, we don't want to say yes, Lord, we'll follow your law, statutes, commandments. Instead, we want to say a man that believes in love with another man should be allowed to enjoy that man. You can't enjoy everything in life. You understand? Can you jump in the ocean and go swimming in the depth of the ocean without no apparatus to breathe? The ocean is there, though. The water's right there. But you can't jump in it. Why? Because you're going to drown. Why? Because everything is not for you to be doing. You can't climb every mountain. You hear about them stories. They go to climb Mount Everest every year. Bunch of Edomites take all that gear with them, put them packs on, climb way up into the Himalayas. Okay? Them high mountains. And what happens? They go up there and they die in many cases. Their lungs fill up with fluid, it freezes, it restricts their breathing, and they drop dead. Why? Because they ain't got no business being up there, because that's not where you were supposed to dwell. Just because the Lord made the whole earth, don't mean he made the whole earth for you to dwell wherever the hell you wanted to dwell at. He didn't say that. He set up the lands for people to dwell in. Once again, it's so arrogant. It's so arrogant for you to believe that whatever goes on in the earth, you should be allowed to do it. It's such a selfish, arrogant, proud way to think. Like nothing should be restricted from you. Nothing should be held back from you. And that comes from a man who is detached from the Lord. That comes from Esau. Esau is a man that's separated from the Lord. You understand? And is a man, like the scriptures say, that never stayeth at home. So he don't never want to be at home. He don't never want to respect the Most High. He don't never want to get in the line. To him, the Lord he's like a bad kid. The Lord holding him back. To him, the Lord holding him back from the life he want to live. Like he act like the Lord hiding something from him. No, I'm good. What? Like the Lord, I got it. Like the Lord hiding from him something that he's supposed to have. When that's a damn lie. The Lord set rules up in the earth for you to live and survive and to thrive in this earth, not to be the opposite. You know what I'm saying? But we've been living it like it's the opposite. Go ahead. So we do things, but we don't ask at the Lord's mouth. We don't say, is there a way to do this? Is there a way for us to live this life that is righteous, that is prosperous without repercussion? Oh, there's plenty of prosperous people out here. People out here that's billionaires. Look at Jeff Bezos and them. They billionaires. Elon Musk and them. What is the end of them and their legacy? All the billions they created is about to get wiped out. They're going into the treasuries of Jesus Christ. Yahushua going to have all their money in his treasuries. Why? Because they built an evil, false kingdom. So anybody trying to be a part of that kingdom, instead of building Christ's kingdom, you're going to lose the whole damn thing. Like you're going to waste your whole life. You got families, Edomite families in this country who have built legacies for the last 400, 500 years. You go and talk to them, go up in some of them Appalachian mountains. Some of them got houses and land that been in their families, been in their family since the 16 and 1700s. And they'll tell you about it. My great-grandfather was this cat and that cat. They got whole legacies. But what they ain't looking at is you got a whole legacy, but you got a whole legacy also that's attached to enslaving God's chosen people. Right. And if you can't understand that, take you a tour to Egypt and go up in them tombs and ask yourself, why does it smell in these tombs? I'll answer it for you. Because the tourist is in there pissing and taking a dump on Pharaoh's head. The Pharaoh that you looked at as a god and that you thought was wonderful and amazing, you understand, some Chinese woman who's eating, what's them things, sprouts and noodles, brother, and that's running through her digestive system at 60, you understand, Pharaoh getting a full reconciliation for all the evil that he did in your statutes. That's what's going on. Like, it's a mess. And why is it a mess? The Lord took it away. Why? It was built wrong in the first place. So for you to try to build your empire along with their empire, thinking you're going to build and join with Egypt and get somewhere. It's a mistake, and this third world war is proven. And I'm so happy that this war is going on, because for me, it is such, it's proof positive of everything we've been teaching it since 1969. It's like, yes, finally it's here. Finally, it's biblical prophecy. Finally, we come into the part in the end. Now you better come into the truth. You better get in here quick. You better now get educated on the law, statutes, and commandments. Because once again, this is spiritual. If you've been eating pork and you think you can continue to eat pork because your grandmama ate pork and your great grandmama ate pork, I got bad news for you. The Lord is watching you eat that pork. Even when you ain't watching, he's watching you eat that pork. And there's going to be repercussions for that pork. Why? Because it's against his kingdom. And you should never do it. You should never do it. Like, the Lord is going to demand that we be a highly dignified people. He's going to demand it. He's going to force us to clean ourselves up as a people. Okay? Tell them where you at, Doc.
Comments to the book of 1 Kings. This was talking about the fire of the Lord fell.
Come on, read it. Read it.
All right.
So what? Salaki, I mean, 18. Jump on you like that. Go ahead.
No problem, sir. It's the book of 1 Kings, chapter 18, verse 38. Then the fire of the Lord fell and consumed the burnt sacrifice, and the wood, and the stones, and the dust, and licked up the water that was trenched.
Right, and licked up the water that was trenched. Damn. Go ahead.
Verse 39, and when all the people saw it, fell on their faces. And they said, the Lord, he is the God. The Lord, he is the God.
Because we were trying to follow a different God. And Elijah had to do this miracle before our eyes to show us, man, here is the real God. And let me tell you something, like what's happening in this world right now in Israel is a miracle. Right. In that the Lord prophesied this thousands of years ago. And we're watching the actual unrolling of it. We're living in a miracle right now. Even though it sounds horrible, even though people are dying and blood and guts is everywhere, right, you are living in the miracle of a prophecy as you sit in your chair right now. And that's supposed to make you say, yo, God is real. Everything he said gonna happen is real. The world is going to end like he said it would. What am I supposed to do now? You're supposed to become a dignified human being. You're supposed to put back on the dignity that you lost being in a cruel and evil, wicked world. You're supposed to put it back on. You're supposed to become now a real servant of Christ. Not a singing, dancing, tambourine shaking, loving LGBT servant of Christ. No, you got to be an actual, he said do this, so I'm doing that. He said do this, so I'm doing it the way he said. You got to be one of them. You got to be one of them to know, learn, and understand from the U.P.K. what kind of person you're supposed to be. And then you're supposed to take it and you're supposed to make it a part of your life, man. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. You know why? Because walking in the truth and knowing these things and knowing what's right and then doing them is a place of comfort. Right. You know what I'm saying? It's just like your children. When your children come home from school, and your rule in your house is all the children take off their shoes at the door, let's say, right? So now they come in the house, they take their shoes off the door, they running in their socks, running in them socks, they know they doing the right thing. They get to playing and all. But what if one of your kids decide, I don't want to take off my shoes? Now, he don't take off his shoes. Is he happy-go-lucky and all that? No. He's now suspicious of what's going to happen. Why? Because he knows he's breaking the rule. So he's testing the rule. Is he going to get a beating? Is he going to get punished? Is he going to get over? And nothing happened. That's what's in the back of his mind. And guess what? Now he's being poisoned. And that's what this world has done to us. This world has told us, don't take your shoes off. What you listening to him for? What you respecting him for? He ain't even real. That book ain't real. It was made up. People put that book together. How you know he even real? God ain't coming back. We went out in outer space. There ain't no God out there. That ain't nothing real. That's what's happening to us. And we becoming evil because of it. That's why we want to celebrate Halloween, Christmas. You understand? Because we become evil because of it. And as a result, we are creeping around in an evil thing. When we should be happy in the dignity of the Lord. We should be happy when we're not eating pork. We're following the laws and statutes and commandments. When we understand the prophecy that he's handing down, we're living in a miracle right now. Right. We should be seeing that, man, and happy, knowing we are doing what the Lord said, and we're going to be part of this kingdom he's about to set up, that everybody lied and said that they was going to be a part. LGBT said they would. The white man said he would. Christians worshiping a white Jesus said he could. Everybody said it. Was everybody true? No, they were all wrong. They went and built big churches, did they not? Raised tons of money. Now look, them churches is empty now because they made a mistake. They made a mistake and they blew it because what they thought they were doing right was actually evil and wrong, because really all you worship in America is your slave master. That's who you really worshiping. You're not really worshiping Jesus. You just worshiping American lifestyle. Like, why is it American lifestyle not in conflict with Christianity? And Christianity, you could be a Christian and live in America perfectly. Go to work, go home, buy a house, live your life, raise your kids. You could be gay, you could be lesbian, whatever the case may be. It ain't even an issue. Why isn't it an issue? Because really you're worshiping the same thing. Democracy and Christianity is basically the same religion. Go ahead, Al, you got a question?
Time check.
The water, I appreciate it. Yeah, that's cool. The water. You understand? That's what that is. The Lord hates this Halloween, hates their gods, hates all these things, and he's bringing an end to it because of it. Okay? Did you get the third verse in there?
We did not.
I'm trying to just finish that third verse and I'm going to move on.
We didn't get to we still on verse 2, sir.
Go ahead, finish it up.
It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 30, verse 2. That walked to go down into Egypt and have not asked at my mouth.
Right.
To strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh.
Right. To strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, man. To make yourself strong with America. America is a strong, powerful country. Most powerful country in the world. Second, maybe only to China. This is a very powerful country. They got a lot of weapons. All kinds of weapons. A lot of soldiers. All kinds of soldiers, a lot of land, a lot of money. They got a lot of everything. Does it mean you should trust in it? No. Does it mean you should be part of Halloween? No. Does it mean you should be part of this way of life? No. You went out and became a part of this way of life and lost your husband over it, a lot of you sisters. You went out there and became a part of this life and lost your wife. Lost your children, destroyed your family, did all these things because you were trying to be a part of a world that was never for you, that was never a part of where you should have been at. And Halloween is a good part of it, and this war coming is now showing you the reality. People don't know what to do. People don't know what to do as this thing is unfolding. And forget about white people. I've never seen white people more angry than ever. You got to pay attention when you're around these devils. Especially if they're 50 and over. I got a 50 and over rule with them. I keep a double eye on them. I'm ready to buy a big old eyeball. Just look at them with. Like, I keep a double eye because they are ready to go off. And they're ready to go off for two reasons. One, they angry and can feel the end of their kingdom. They know America's just basically destroyed. That's why they're voting for Trump. America's done. One. And number two, they think you are asleep. They think you're asleep too. They think that you have wrecked the place and you don't even see that you wrecked it, and you don't see how angry they are. And you don't see how much that they feel violated by you wrecking the place, which you never wrecked the place. They wrecked the place by their laws. But they blame you for it, so guess what? They want revenge on you. And they mad and angry as hell, but it means nothing because it's going to fall anyway. It's going down. Go ahead.
And to trust in the shadow of Egypt.
To trust in the shadow. Like, that's us. Boy, that scripture right there totally describes us. Because what is a shadow? When you walk past something and there's a shadow on the wall, is it actually you? No. It's a shadow of you. It's like something that looks like you, but it's not really you. That's black people. You trying to be like the white man. You dressing like him. You talking like him. You trying to be like him, but are you him? No, you're not. You're different people. Trying to be him. You're a shadow of him. We trust in that shadow. We trust in being a shadow slave. Halloween. How wicked and undignified can you be? And remember now, some churches is having Halloween inside the church. Inside the church, they have a Halloween party. Talking about we're going to keep it safe. We're going to keep it dignified. You're a liar. You want to have Halloween too. You want to have and celebrate Halloween too. You want our people to be happy in America. That's why mothers be saying, I don't want my children to miss out. That's why I don't want Halloween. I celebrate Halloween and celebrate Christmas. You should want your children to miss out. Don't you know your children missing out is what's helping them separate them from the kingdom? Like they got to be happy and comfortable with everything that goes on in the kingdom. Then guess what? They're going to love it too and never want to separate from it. They got to feel like, you know, mom and dad don't like us doing Halloween or don't like us doing Christmas. They say it's wrong. They say it's evil. Bear with me a second. They say it's wrong. They say it's evil. It's not a good thing. And then you teaching them why. And then teaching them what the alternative is. The Lord's high holy days. Right. That's what's supposed to go on. Then guess what? Then they don't turn 14 and shoot up everybody at the party. Because they understand that it's wicked as hell and they ain't trying to go to the party. You understand? They learn that's not the way I should be. That's not where I should be at and what I should be at. They learn that that's not fun. The way you learned it was fun, and now you got to learn, relearn, be retaught again to come out of that kind of fun. You could have the same fun at one of them parties as you have at any party. Right. But you under the brainwash that you got to be at that Halloween party. Right. And let me tell you something else too, man. A lot of women have sex with men that are not their man or that they're not in a relationship with during these Halloween parties. Because it's like, it's Halloween. So you got to do mischief and you got to have fun. You got to have fun. It's Halloween. How you going to pass Halloween and not have fun? So, of course, you go out there and get drunk, go out there and smoke weed, go out there and take other illicit drugs, trying to enhance the fun. You and your girlfriends going to Halloween parties. Before you know it, you done had sex with somebody. You done violated yourself. You done lowered yourself and angered the Most High. Because he said for a woman not to play the harlot. So here you go again, breaking something else that you shouldn't be breaking. You understand? In the name of trying to be a part of an empire that had you in slavery and cares nothing of you. You trusting in Egypt, man, when you should not be. Go ahead, Art.
If I could, sort of like, even like when parents say, well, it's for the kids, or they're gonna be unhappy. Like literally, like my kids yesterday, they was like, Halloween bad, and they was chilling.
Yeah, they don't care about it. If you teach them right, they could care less. If you bring them up the right way, train up a child the way you ought to, and from thence he shall never depart. That's what we need back in among us. Right. We need our own mindset back. How are we gonna have a mindset of a religion that come from the slave master that you can't break away from? Which means you can't get away from the slave master because you caught up in the mind. Like if you can't get away from Christmas, then the slave master got you. Right. He decides what you do in your life because of the peer pressure, you can't pull away from Christmas. And especially now. Now is when you got to get strong because you got Thanksgiving coming up, which is straight up about the slaughter of the North American Indians. It's a straight up religion about mass killing. They talking about mass killing and mass shooting. That's what Thanksgiving is. It's about mass killing, about extermination, about genocide, about chemical warfare with polio-filled blankets. It's about all manner of evil. You understand? So you're going to celebrate Thanksgiving? Be a part of something that you're going to make yourself something disgusting before the Lord? You got to have that religion. Christmas, a worship of Nimrod as a god, another god. Now you're going to take Nimrod and make him a god. and put him in a seat of a God. Nobody want to hear that, man. Nobody want to hear that you're going to serve you're going to serve these heathen gods over the Lord. Makes no sense, man. Read on, finish it up. I done ran on it pretty long.
Verse 3. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame.
And it's a shame for us now.
Right.
If we put our strength in this empire, put our heart and soul, we voted, we pled, we fought in the wars, we remotivated ourselves every time they disappointed us and shut us off. Now, when we supposed to get the benefits of everything we suffered and sacrificed and invested in, now we're gonna be shamed. Because guess what? It ain't gonna stop the killings by police officers. It ain't gonna stop the poverty that you being pushed into, which is causing your people to become more violent.
Right.
It ain't stopping any of these holidays, and joining yourself to this man is not stopping any of that. It ain't pulling you away from it. It's not freeing you from it. It's bringing you closer to it.
Right.
And you already suffered under it. You're going to suffer even more from it, because here's the sad part. Now, your slave master going to fail. Now he's going to fail. Now the one that you trusted in, now he's going to fail.
Right.
And we're going to have global thermal conflict in this empire. And in this country, it's going to be bad. This country right here, it's going to be bad. And if you ignorant and simple and don't know the truth and ain't came into the righteousness of the Lord, your preacher ain't going to have no answers for you. During the COVID-19, preachers ain't have no answers for people.
Right.
People was calling them up saying, man, why didn't y'all tell us this was going to happen? Why didn't y'all know this? Y'all say y'all prophets of God. They was telling Christian preachers that. Y'all saying y'all doing miracles in church. You notice the miracle preaching that went down 95%? Them preachers that was doing them miracles all the time, Benny Hinn and them, brother, that joint that went all the way down after COVID-19. Because, of course, what was everybody looking for during COVID-19? They was looking for him to do miracles and healing.
Right.
So now you talk about you healing people from blood pressure, slapping people on the head, they crippled, they supposedly getting back up. Well, here's a real pandemic, COVID-19. Meanwhile, you done shut the church down and quarantine yourself in the house. You supposed to be the one with the miracles that's supposed to give them the healing. Oh, man, it was sad. It was sad for our people, because it was such a humiliation in our ignorance. We were so humiliated to think that these charlatans, these slime balls. I remember arguing with a sister. I remember a sister saying about that same Benny Hinn. I remember an East Indian old snake oil salesman sitting up there like a preacher of God making $80 million a year. I remember her telling, but my girlfriend went down there and she said she had this, and that. And she said, sure enough, he laid hands on her and she got healed. I'm telling you, it's real. I said, sis, I don't know what else to tell you. I've tried to show you in the scriptures. I've tried to give you the understanding of it. Some people just got to get taken before they understand. That's why the term "a sucker is born every day" exists in this kingdom.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because people dropping dead. People stop taking their medicine, stop going to the doctor, listening to these charlatans, and dying prior to COVID-19. And dying. So you could imagine that after COVID-19, their hearts were broken. They calling up these preachers with their hearts broken, and it was right that they was doing it, because it was such an evil thing against the Lord. And that'd be the same place Halloween taking place at. You know what I mean? Same place. You can't even get a preacher to speak against the LGBTQ community, because they would totally ostracize him. They would totally throw him and everything he's teaching into the streets. Go ahead, Doc.
If I could, I'll make it real quick, sir. I was talking to my cousin. He's a minister at Howard University. So basically, you know, he just graduated a couple years ago. We was just speaking about, you know, because of course he's a minister. You know, I'm under you, so all the family knows the difference. So we talking, and I'm just asking. I was like, you know, I know you come from one of them old school churches that didn't play that homosexual thing. What's your stance on it now about homosexuality? He said, well, I can't really speak against it in the school because I can get in trouble. I said, dang, so you telling me that you can't talk about how homosexualism is a sin? He said, no, you can't. And I said, good night.
But listen, he's a slime ball because, yeah, you can't talk about it in church because they got a separation between church and state.
Right.
None of us could. None of us could go to church, go to a high school and teach that alternative lifestyles are wrong.
Right.
It's against the law, which is fine. This is their kingdom, and that's the case. However, even the devil didn't take away their free speech to come out on the street or to set up in their church and say, according to God, living an alternative lifestyle is wrong. They can do that at church, as long as they don't go to school and do it. They can do it at church all day long. They can do it on the street all day long. But do they do it? No. They hiding behind the school and saying, well, we can't because of the school. BS. You don't want to do it because you don't want, for any reason, to be associated with the anti-LGBT community. Why? Because you know they will come for you in them churches. Why? Because your churches is filled with LGBTQ.
Right.
You know what I mean? Half 2/3 of your preacher is that, and you can't even count the women. There's so many women in it, and you can't even tell unless you see them with whoever they dealing with. You can't even tell. They walking in there with the 10-gallon hat and the full Sunday dress on. Meanwhile, they going home, brother, snatching that wig off. They got a full bald head on, putting a wife beater on, and a strap on in some cases. A lot if anybody got kids up. You know what I'm saying? So you don't even know. Once again, the down low started in church, did it not? That's where it started at. The whole hiding of black homosexuality and lesbianism all started in church, because originally in church, it was the place to say that this was wrong. But of course, over time, they worked the hell out of them until they couldn't say it no more, which is what you're never supposed to do. Men of God are never supposed to change their position with the Lord because of the people. You're never supposed to fear the people. That's what Saul did. Saul lost the kingdom because he feared the people.
Right.
He didn't want to stand up to them and tell them, no, we can't take these spoils. The Lord said to burn these spoils. He didn't want to do that. He was scared to tell them that. So he let them have it when the Lord said not to. The Lord didn't want Amalek to have any part in our prosperity. So he told them to get rid of that cattle. Burn it. I don't want none of it. I don't want the people to have none of it. I don't want any of it. But he didn't do what he was supposed to do. And once again, you can't fear the people. Them preachers are they're in fear of the people. More, not so much the people harming them, as much as in fear that the people will cut their money off.
Right.
That's what they really worried about. They don't want their cash cut off. But that's all coming now. Now, they had no answer for the first pandemic. They got no answer for the war now. On top of it, whatever comes next, they got no answer for that. They got no answers. They got no answers. And it's the Lord's doing. You know what I'm saying? It's the Most High's doing. Because they never had any answers. They were always running game on us. You know what I'm saying? Get Job 21:30 if you could. Just to go a little bit more into what we're talking about. Usually I jump all into the Third World War and get deep into it, but not tonight, because we got a couple podcasts coming up this week where I want to go up into it. I'm definitely going on one of the podcasts and talking about the bottomless pit, which I cannot wait, because I believe they have finally opened it, and now hell is coming up out of it. The smoke of her burning was coming out of that bottomless pit right now. It's that smoke that the scriptures talk about. That's everything you're hearing about now. You're hearing about, like, smoke comes before what? There you go. So the smoke is what's coming out that pit. That's why somebody say he don't want no smoke. meaning he don't want to bring no trouble, because after that trouble comes violence. And that's what's going on now. They've opened that pit, and now they're bringing trouble. You hearing about trouble. You hearing about protests. You hearing about possible wars start. All of that is getting ready to come up out that pit. Go ahead, Al. Job 21 and 30. Go ahead, read it.
The book of Job, chapter 21 and verse 30, that the wicked is reserved to the day of destruction.
The wicked is reserved for the day of destruction. This is it. We in that day of destruction now. They held on. They did good. Built an amazing kingdom. All of them, not just America. This ain't just America. All the European kingdoms, all the Arab kingdoms, all of the African kingdoms, all of them have done, all of the Oriental kingdoms, all of them have done well for themselves around the world. All of them have used the Lord's chosen people in one way or another. All of them have had great prosperity in the world. Now comes prophecy. Now comes judgment time. Now comes the changing of the guard. And let me tell you something else too. All of their scholars and their top preachers are in fear of the Israelite school of UPK.
Right.
They fear us talking about it, because they now know that we know exactly what's happening, and that we can break it down in the scriptures. Damn right. Like they know, we know. And they know they can't just twist it anymore, because we've been saying it long before all this happened. We've been teaching this before it happened. So when we're bringing it up now, it's really just a refresher for most people. And so now when they come with some lies, it's not sticking no more. And so they worry. They're concerned. Go ahead.
They shall be brought forth to the day of wrath.
They're going to be brought forth to the day of wrath. They're going to be moved, meaning they're going to keep on progressing all the way forward until the day of wrath. And what is wrath? Wrath is when you are angrily destroyed for what you've done.
Right.
That's what wrath is. Wrath is a repercussion of what you've done. You did something, and now the person who you did it to is coming back with anger to give you back what you gave. That's what's happening. That's the Lord. Everything, there is a price to pay for taking God's children and putting them in slavery.
Right.
Even though he destroyed us, you still are not supposed to do the things that was done to us in slavery. Like they were supposed to work us. Like you see how we working now in these slaveries? We supposed to be working these slaveries because we are in slavery for what we did. But is he supposed to be drugging us up? Hell no. Is he supposed to be making our men into homosexuals? Hell no. Is he supposed to be mass incarcerating us for crimes we didn't commit, or crimes that we commit based on the terrorism he's done to us? Hell no. He's supposed to be influencing our sisters to kill their babies in the abortion clinics? Is he supposed to be systematically training us to kill each other with rap music and other things that he creates? Hell no. Is he supposed to be doing all these things? No, but he's doing them. Where's that scripture at, Nakar, where the Lord said, I was wroth with my people and I put them in your hand and you did further their punishments? I'm paraphrasing. You know that one? Just give it a shot. You know what I mean? I'll read while you look for it. All right. Job 21:31. Who shall declare his way to his face? And who shall repay him what he have done? Right. Who's going to tell this man that his world is evil? Like I said, the preacher won't do it, but it's our job to do it. We've been called to do it. So we do it. We tell him to his face that God is going to bring down the greatest empire that ever was erected on the face of this earth. Right. The most mighty and most powerful army ever forged together in the history of the world. God is going to destroy it. We got to tell him to his face. Prophesy to him. Go ahead.
Is it Zechariah?
What does it say?
It said, and I am very sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease.
No, that's not it. The what? That's close. Let me read on. 32, Job 21:32. Yet shall he be brought to the grave. That's what you're watching now, the unfolding of him being brought to the grave. And shall remain in the tomb. Meaning when he go down this time, brother, he's never going to come out. Like you, when you put in a tomb, that's you buried there. You don't never come out, you dead. The Lord is saying he going to go into a tomb and he shall never come out. He going to go into this tomb, meaning he going to go into slavery, and it ain't going to be like what's happening with us now. Like we've been in slavery over 400 years. What you watching is the Lord getting ready to end the slavery by destroying the people that have us in slavery. But here's the thing. When we go into slavery, I mean, when this man goes into slavery, that tomb will never be opened again. Right. There'll never be a day where they say, all right, we're going to free the Edomites. We're going to free the other nations. That day ain't never going to happen again. Because what did the nations prove on the earth? They proved they didn't have the ability to govern the earth. They proved it. So since they proved it, it's right for the Lord's chosen to be over the earth. And it's right that they never gain the power again to sit up over the Lord's chosen to create more of this. That's why the Lord said in Isaiah 14 chapter that he may not rise, nor possess the land, nor face the face of the earth with cities ever again. Right. Because why? He showed what he does when he has it. Exactly. He showed what kind of kingdom he builds. Right. He shows how they never stay at home and go and conquer other lands. He shows how he takes the identity and the land markers of other people. It tell you that in the scriptures. It tell you in the scriptures that this man moves the land marker of other people for himself. You ain't supposed to do that. Like if somebody back in our ancient world, when we were ruling, if somebody put their marker in the ground and that was their land, you couldn't come and move that marker. You came and moved that marker, you can get killed because that land don't belong to you. You understand? It wasn't no IBM computer back then. It was that marker. You took that marker and nobody didn't see it. Nobody would know where the boundary of that man's land is. And his land was everything because that's how he lived. You understand? It wasn't no supermarket. He had to grow his food. He had to have his animals on his land. Now, you done moved his marker, you basically wiped out his life, and you basically wiped out his family's life, and you basically wiped out the history of it. Well, this man used to like to move that marker. The Lord said you not to move that marker, man. But he would do it anyway. And because of it, look at us, we destroyed now. Do we got a marker now? Hell no. You got to go to the supermarket, right? You got to go to Deer Park if you want clean water. You can't go dig no well. I mean, you could, but you got to go get the money, dig the well, and you still going to pay taxes on that for every year that you here. And if Esau wake up and decide he want it, he hit you with the intimate domain and then take that from him. You understand? I'm not saying that to take away your hope or prosperity that you might build on. I'm not doing that. I'm trying to let you know that whatsoever you build on, whatever you gain, whatever you prosper in, make sure you ain't putting your heart into it because it's not how you going to get out of here. It's temporary and maybe more temporary than we thought before because we see what's going on in the world. So it's very temporary. So yeah, go on, get it on. Buy as much land as you want to buy, but make sure your head is right on. It really, just even though he's giving you a deed and telling you it's yours, it's really his and it's really going to be destroyed in the third world's war. You know what I'm saying? That's really what's going on. All right, what verse you at?
Search the book of Isaiah chapter 47 verse 6.
Go ahead.
I was wroth with my people. Mm-hmm. I had polluted my inheritance.
See what the Lord said? He was wroth with us. Why? We broke them wonderful, wonderful laws. Them laws are serious business. Like, it's a reason a God wants you to follow them laws. Like, that's the part people don't get. We ain't talking about your homie telling you to follow these rules. We ain't talking about your boss at the warehouse saying follow these rules. We talking about the almighty power. Yahweh is saying, yo, follow these rules. Because this is going to make you the greatest people on the face of this earth. Right. Above any other people in the world. And for you not to take that advice and you not to walk with the Lord Almighty, you not to walk with the greatest man on the face of this earth and in space, Yahweh and his son, and take it for free. God tell you to not to eat pork. You mad at God that you can't eat pork instead of being joyous that the God that made everything had mercy on you and say, hey, don't eat pork because you're going to get destroyed by it. Instead of you being happy and thankful and saying, damn, the Lord really looked out for me. You angry at the Lord because you feel like you're supposed to be able to eat what you want to eat. Dummy. Big dummy. You still like a child. You like a baby that can't have the candy in the candy jar. You like a little brat. You know what I'm saying? You tell the little kid, no, you can't have no more candy. I want a candy. You like a goddamn brat and need your behind beat. And now you're going to get your behind beat because you didn't listen, went in there and got the candy anyway. Daddy came out the back room, caught you with your hand in the cookie jar like he see everything. Took that belt off and tore your behind up. Made you dance the chicken with that weapon. You know when daddy grab your arm and he tear your ass up and you start dancing the chicken trying to get out that heat. like you jumping like you in hot grease. See what I'm saying? That's what's happened to us. That's America. That's the ghetto. You know what I'm saying? That's the 400 years. You've been dancing the chicken trying to get out the damn fire. Now what you supposed to do? Daddy, I'll put it back. I'll put it back, Daddy. I'm sorry, Daddy. I'll put it back. You're supposed to throw that candy back in the candy jar and never touch it again. That's what the Lord was giving us. And then we mad because we got it. You ain't mad when you ate too much of the candy and now your daddy got to take you to the emergency room and your stomach is bound up and you in severe pain and it's the middle of the night and it's cold and you a young child. And he got to run you into the bright lights of the hospital at 2 a.m. and you throwing up, feeling near death, sick as a dog, crying tears. Then he looking at you like, I told you not to eat the daggone candy. You went and snuck in there and ate the candy anyway. And I told you not to eat the candy. Now you listening. Now you sorry for what the hell happened. That's us. That's us. Right. So now we should learn the lesson. Instead, walk with the Most High. Because what did he say? Read that one for me again.
I was wroth with my people. I have polluted my inheritance.
Right. When he said I polluted my inheritance, his inheritance was pure, righteous. But he said, you know what? Y'all wicked as hell. I'm going to send y'all out there now and let the other nations take us over, which polluted us, made us common. Because now we mixed among the other nations, man. Made us nothing. You understand? Go ahead.
God, and given them into thy hand.
And gave us into the hands of the heathen. Now, the heathen still gets a charge. Even though the Lord put him in our hand, put us in his hand, that bastard still gets a charge. Here's why. Read on.
Thou didst
read every word.
And given them into thy hand. Thou didst show them no mercy.
But does it say but thou or just thou?
It says thou didst.
Okay, thou didst show them no mercy. Meaning you didn't even say they knew who he was. Why did Columbus come over here? First of all, who financed Columbus's 3 ships? The Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. Who financed it? Go ahead, Al.
The Jews.
The Roman Catholic Church. That's who financed. That's why it was called the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. You know what I'm saying? Because he was the Roman Catholic Church. He was Italian. It was the Roman Catholic Church that financed him to come over here. Why did they finance him to come over there? Go get the book Lost Tribes and Promised Lands. Before he got over here, other explorers came over here. And them explorers saw that they found the 12 tribes of Israel and said, yo, we found them. We've been wondering where the 12 lost tribes are. We found them. They're in these islands over here. Here's the maps. You know the Roman Catholic Church keep every map scroll from the beginning of goddamn time, damn near, hiding it in that damn Vatican, them vaults and all them temperature controlled vaults. They got a mile down underneath the ground. So they down there with all the records. So they pull the records out and see where we at and send Columbus over there. Go over there, man, and find them. Why? To put us in slavery again. Knowing who we are. Knowing that we escaped during the Assyrian. They got the records. Them same records we read, they read them. Oh, this is where they at. They went here. They did this. They did it. All right, send somebody over there and see where they at. And found us. And then went over there and started to enslave us over there. Then the Spaniards got wind of it. The Portuguese got wind of it. Then eventually the French. Then eventually the British, who eventually took it all over. They all came over there. Fought wars over that land and all that, knowing that, one, it was all that land and all them resources. One, and number two, that the Lord's chosen people was over there. Why you think they knew who to go get in Africa to enslave us? Because they had the records. Those were Masons that set up America. When you go back and look, George Washington, Jefferson, all of them top dog, Hamilton, all of them were Freemasons. Freemasons studied the architect of Egypt and the history of the Egyptian empire. This country wasn't built this way by accident. This country was built this way because the architects of this country knew that they were trying to rebuild ancient Egypt. So they knew that ancient Egypt needed slaves. The minute they got a chance, they took over all the slaves that the British brought over here in the beginning. They took it over. And they were running them slaves, us, until they got independence, and then they really set up the Egyptian empire. That's why they got the obelisk in Washington. That's why the White House is designed the way it is. That's why those monuments are called temples. If you go to the Lincoln Memorial in D.C., it's called a temple. It's registered as a religious temple. You think people think they just going up in there to see the Lincoln Memorial? It's a temple. The same with the other, high-ranking people that were Masons in there. Those are temples. Those are Egyptian temples. Is no different than the ancient Egyptian temples to Amun-Ra, to the Pharaoh, to Isis. It's the same thing they did over here. Only they did it with, Jefferson, Lincoln, George Washington, temples. Same setup. So they reset Egypt up and said, on top of it, let's get the slaves back in order. Which means, what were they thinking? They were so demonic that they said to themselves, Egypt fell last time. They look at the Lord like he's Satan. They said, Egypt fell last time because of this God of the Hebrews. So let's go back now, because they believe in Amun-Ra and their gods and Horus and all them. Let's serve our gods and go back and rebuild Egypt. So they knew they knew who they had. And they rebuilt the empire up. And when they rebuilt the empire up and enslaved us up again, they had no mercy knowing who we were. Right. They knew we were the Lord's chosen. They knew they were supposed to have mercy, because you playing, it's like anything. You know what I'm saying? You give a good example. Let me think. Okay, you a young kid, you out in the yard, you playing with other kids. Now, one of them kids is the younger brother of Taboo. Taboo is 6'7", 325 pounds of nothing but steel, and he's mean as hell, and he don't like nobody but his younger brother. Now, when you out there playing and y'all horsing around, you know this Taboo son. Don't go too far, because Taboo come outside and beat everybody the hell up. Everybody know that. That's the Lord. The Lord saying, this my son. Watch how you dealing with him. You had no mercy on him. Why wasn't you merciful knowing that he fell in your hand? Because I was mad. And the Most High love us so much, more than we ever could understand. Like, that's just like the Lord to word it that way. He worded it like, I was mad with my people, man. I was mad with them. I was upset with them, the things they did. I was so angry with them. But you ain't have no mercy on them. You ain't even do the right. You know I was angry with them. You went too far. That's what the Lord is saying in this scripture, which is what they did. You weren't supposed to make homosexuals out of us. Really? Really? They ain't supposed to even have taken away our identity. Right. You go back and look at them records from the 15th century, they knew who we were. They knew who we were. You go back and look at the records from the west coast of Africa, Fort Judah and them different areas, they knew who we was. So they were supposed to tell us, look, y'all are the 12 tribes of Israel. This is your history. This is who you are. And we supposed to follow it. And they ain't never supposed to take it away from us. And they're supposed to have told us, look, we going to eat pork, but y'all can't eat pork because your God, the God of the Hebrews, don't want y'all eating pork. So y'all can't eat no pork. It's supposed to have been like that. And it's supposed to have been 400 years of us always knowing who we are, and that one day we was going to come out of slavery. We would have been excellent slaves. We would have been thankful slaves, because we would have been like, we thank our slave master because we went into slavery for breaking the Lord's laws, but the slave master was merciful enough to make sure we kept our name, we kept our identity, we kept our laws, we kept who we are, but we still had to go work under him. And it should have been straight up legit. It shouldn't have been no fake, we're all equal. No, it should have been, y'all sinned against the Lord, we conquered you, we put you in slavery, you work for us now, you're getting 15 an hour, that's it. And no friendship BS, we got to hang out in the bar and be friends. No, go back to your people and help your people, raise your kids. They would have had millions or more loyal slaves. Instead of 2 million brothers in prison, they'd had 2 million brothers working under them willingly, righteously, knowing, well, we are in captivity, but the slave master's been merciful to us. Eventually we'll get free. But he was such a rat and so scared and intimidated by us, never would allow us to know who he was, drugged us up, destroyed our families, separated us, all of that. When really the natural progression of us from slavery is what happened in Egypt. Eventually in Egypt, we got so big, so powerful, so strong that we were bigger than the Egyptians. But that was our rightful place. We're the chosen people of the Lord. You can put us in slavery when the Lord punishes us, but over time, we're going to come back to the Lord and rise back to who he was in prominent power. You can't avoid that. If they had followed that understanding, then we would be prospering in America right now, and we'd be giving America good advice, good support, all of that as they transition from being the slave master to being the slave. Here's the other part. The slave would have been, the new slave, them, would have been loved by us. We would have been heartbroken that we have to now be in charge of them. We'd be like, man, y'all been in charge so long, man. We hate to take it from y'all. You know what I'm saying? It's like, damn, I'm used to just working for you. All right, well, you got to start working for me. We're going to work it out. And it would have been merciful on them. They would have been great. Nope, did it wrong. Now you got to pay from the Most High, because he said, I was wroth with him. I put him in your hand. Read it one more time for me. We over the time.
No problem. I was wroth with my people. I have polluted my inheritance and given them into thy hand. Thou didst show them no mercy. Upon the ancient hand, thou very, very heavily laid thy yoke.
You see how he said, upon the ancient, us, we the ancient. You heavily laid your yoke. They didn't have to lay that yoke on us. They didn't have to break our spirit, whip us with whips. It could have been done in a righteous manner. They got criminals, Edomites, right? They got to pull them over in cars. Are they beating and shooting and killing them? No, they treating them with dignity. They should have been doing the same to us, knowing who our Father is, knowing the repercussions based on these prophecies. A day was coming that they was going to lose their kingdom. They were supposed to know that 400 years ago. It's supposed to be like a day is going to come. And they got astrologers and all that have read the stars. They into so much witchcraft. They all knew about that, man. And they should have been like, yo, one day we're going to have to turn this kingdom over to them. So we need to be wise and sensible, and let's deal with them a certain way. We ain't supposed to be trying to fight to get our brothers and sisters to learn who they are. After 450 years, at no time did you come together and say, yo, let's give them their history. It's in the Library of Congress. You know where you was buying the slaves. I mean, the insurance companies kept meticulous records of how many slaves, how many got sick, how many died, how much they sold on the auction block, which plantations they went to, what breeding did they have. They was doing all of that. They was breeding us like you breed them dogs in the what's the the kennel, the show, the KC, what is that? Go ahead. The what? No, I'm talking about the show that be on TV. That joint, that one where they bring the dogs out and they show the dog. What's that called?
I'm not sure.
I forget. It's the dog show. Some big dog. I forget the proper name for it. But they was breeding us like that, so they knew who we were. They had all the records of us. They didn't have to be this cruel. That's why the Lord is saying that in there. You didn't have to be this cruel. Was that the end of that verse? Yeah, like you didn't have to be that cruel. You didn't have to deal with us like that. But they did it anyway. So now we got a war in the Middle East coming. And guess what? It's going to spill into this country. Because whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't finished out. What you clapping for? I wanted to add one last thing, too. But I ain't going to add it now that you done started clapping. Nicole, you the best. You know what I'm saying? Don't even worry about it. I crack a joke or two sometimes. At this time, I'm turning the class over to Preaching Officer in the Thanyala for the announcements. The what? Carter got me up out of here. Good night. No, it was right. It was right, Nicole. It was right. Come on.